We are given 2 plus I is a complex zero of f of x equals x to the fourth minus 6x cubed plus 10x squared plus 2x minus 15. Find all the zeros of the function. We must also use long division with the given complex zero and its conjugate. And then we must factor the function in both the real number system and complex number system. So we are given that 2 plus I is a complex zero. And so while this is given, this 2 plus I is given, we look for the conjugate of 2 plus I, which is a 2 minus I. So we have 2 zeros. And in this equation, we will have 4 zeros because the highest degree in this function is x to the fourth. So when we begin, we write the zeros down as x minus 2 plus I and x minus 2 minus I. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put brackets around this function so I could simplify it easier and I don't have to deal with all this and I know where everything goes. So I'm going to write it like this: of f of x equals bracket x minus 2 plus I, close bracket, and x minus 2 right here minus I. Close that bracket there. So now that I got all my numbers included and everything, I can go ahead and distribute. And when I distribute, I end up getting x squared minus 4x because of these negative 2x. These negative 2x's will add up to negative 4x. And then negative 2 times negative 2 is a positive 4. And then minus a negative I squared. Before that, you have plus I, minus I, and these i's will cancel out. But when you multiply I and a negative I, you get a negative I squared. Negative I squared. Okay, so you want to write on the side that I squared equals a negative 1. And we already have this negative outside of this I squared. So if I squared equals negative 1 and this negative is already out, we will have a negative times another negative 1. And where I'm getting this negative from is this negative I squared. And since I squared is already a negative 1, you have a negative times a negative 1, which is a plus 1. All you do here now is just add this 1 to this last number right here, which is a 4. So we rewrite this as x squared minus 4x plus 1. 4 plus 1 is 5, and that is 5. So now we divide. We can divide. So we take x squared minus 4x plus 5, and we divide that by our function x to the fourth minus 6x cubed plus 10x squared plus 2x minus 15. All I'm going to do is write it here. So we have x to the fourth minus 6x cubed plus 10x squared, make this a little longer, plus 2x minus 15. And now we just divide. So I take a number that will make this x to the fourth. So what number here I could put here multiplied by x squared will make this x to the fourth? Well, we could just simply put x squared and then take this term and multiply it with each of these. So now x squared times x squared is x to the fourth x to the fourth. X squared minus 4x will be a negative 4x squared. X squared plus 5x, or x squared plus 5 is just a 5x squared. And then we can close that off right here. Note that we are subtracting these terms, so we can cancel these out. So what I did here was I put parentheses in front, and then I put a negative out because we are subtracting all these terms. So x fourth minus x fourth is a 0. But you don't have to write it. I just wrote it just to show it right there. And negative 6x to the third minus negative 4x to the third is a negative 2x squared, or cubed. And then we take a positive 10x squared minus a positive 5x squared, and we just get 5x squared. So plus 5x squared. So let's look what we did so far. Took the term here, x squared, multiplied it with this right here to get x to the fourth. X squared minus, or times a negative 4x is a negative 4x cubed. And then I took x squared times 5 and got 5x squared. I put the parentheses out here and subtracted because we are using subtraction. And then I got 0 here. Negative 6x cubed minus a negative 4x squared will be a negative x to the third. And then positive 10x squared minus a positive 5x squared is just 5x squared. So that's done for that. So I can bring this 2 down right here, so plus 2x. And I can now add another term here. So now I need to find what number here I could put here that will make this, that will multiply this to a negative 2x square, or a negative 2x cubed, or yeah, negative 2x cubed rather than a negative 2x squared. So that would be a negative 2x. Negative 2x times x squared is a negative 2x cubed. Okay. Negative 2x times a negative 4x is 8x squared, positive 8x squared. Negative 2x times 5 is a plus 10x. Or a minus 10x because it's a negative. Close this out again. Parentheses right here. Make sure you have this minus here because we are subtracting. Okay, so a negative 2x cubed minus a negative 2x cubed is just 0. For that. 5x squared minus 8x squared is a negative 3x squared. A positive 2 minus a negative 10x is a plus 12x. Bring down this 15 right here as our last term with this. So bring down the 15, a negative 15. And now, just like I did earlier up here and down here, I take what I could put here to make this a negative 3x squared. So what would that be? Is just a negative 3 will make this a negative 3x squared also. So negative 3 times x squared is a negative 3x squared. Negative 3 times 4x, negative 3 times a negative 4x is a positive 12x. And a negative 3 times a positive 5 is just a negative 15. Close that out. Make sure you put parentheses. And also subtract. You should have a remainder of 0 for all of these. And if you didn't, go back. You might have done something wrong. So that comes as a remainder of 0, and that's my new factor that I'm gonna break out into factors to get my real numbers. So we're gonna move this over here real quick. I'm gonna take this number, these numbers right here, this term right here. I'm gonna rewrite it right here. So we got x squared minus 2x minus 3, just like up here, and gotta take we gotta factor out, get the factors of it. So we take x plus 1 and x minus 3, factor real nice. When you FOIL that out, we'll do it right now. X squared minus 3x plus 1x minus 3 right there. So x squared minus 2x minus 3, and it's right here. And we can check, I got this, and that equaled that, so that's right. So now we take our terms from the complex number system and the real number system. So we'll write them right now. So for my real system, move that right here, my real system, f of x, or just move it down here, f of x equals, for my real system, f of x equals x squared minus 4x plus 5, because they want us to factor it. And for my factors, I did end up getting x plus 1 and x minus 3 for that, for my real system. And now for my complex system, I end up getting f of x, which equals, and we got to put these in factors, x minus 2 plus I x minus 2 minus I x plus 1, I'm running out of room a little bit, x plus 1 and x minus 3 as the numbers in the complex system, because we note that real numbers can also be complex numbers. So that's what you end up getting for this equation. Because they want the factors of it, you write what you got here once you factor this out, which was a x plus 1 and x minus 3. And I found my factors in the real number system, and I put the equation f of x equals x squared, or function f of x equals x squared minus 4x plus 5. X plus 1 and x minus 3 are my factors because I'm factoring out, so those are my zeros. Because we already found the zeros, and these are just the factors of the zeros. And then I get my complex system, x minus 2 plus I, x minus 2 minus I, and note that also real numbers can be complex, can go into the complex system, x plus 1, x minus 3. And that should be your answer if you did it right. And we can make sure you also have to note when you're doing the division, make sure that you're always subtracting, because I like to use parentheses out here to help me know that I'm subtracting, so these all canceled out, gave me a zero, a remainder of 0. Yeah, and I factored this out into x plus 1 and x minus 3, and then to do a quick check, what I did here was I just FOILed it and got the same thing up here, down here, that I got up here, and then I just rewrote them as factors, x plus 1 and x minus 3, x minus 2 plus I, and the conjugate of x minus 2 plus I is x minus 2 minus I, and x plus 1 and x minus 3. That is your answer, and that's how you do it.